Mumbai was a bit challenging in terms of the wicket. The last wicket probably wasn't a 117-run wicket, there's no doubt about it. But I think we've actually done really well as a batting unit over the last year or so, especially in white ball cricket, and even in the 6 or 7 games before that, we've put up some really big scores in one-day cricket. So not too much of a concern. I think the odd times these things can happen. I think Mitchell Stark's bowled really well. Credit to him as well for the way he's bowled with the new ball. I think we just need to find a way to just get through that spell and bat and don't lose too many wickets up front. I think we should be fine.
The Jabot wicket is known to take spin. Will be playing the spin combination of the last game?
Let's see. I mean, obviously we don't want to announce our playing 11 right now. But yeah, we'll have a look at the wicket. I mean, it looks a pretty good wicket, to be very honest with you. So, it obviously gives us that option. The depth is there in our side. If we go in with that third spinner, then we do have 3 fast bowling options as well. So it gives us those options. So yeah, I think we could play both as well. I mean, we've played Shardul in Mumbai and Shardul in the past, which at number 8, which gives us an extra seam bowling option. So it's just a question of us weighing what we think is more important against which opposition, and how we want to set up our team going into sort of the World Cup in sort of October, November. Oops.
Rahul, you have played 8 ODIs so far in this season, and there's a good IPL break. So coming back after the IPL, where do you see India in terms of the team for the 50th World Cup? And also, post IPL, would you like to play in conditions where you're going to play the World Cup matches venues?
So we're guided a little bit by the schedule. So I'm not really, I think after the IPL, you've obviously got the World Test Championship. There's a tour of West Indies, and then there's an Asia Cup, and then there are a few one-days, I think, before the World Cup against Australia. So that's about what we'll get. I think with the kind of schedules we have, it's pretty hectic already. It's hard to add on games, and especially that time of the year in India is obviously the monsoon season. It's really our off season, so we're probably not going to get too many more games in our conditions. But we've had the opportunity over the last few months to play in these conditions, which is great. I think coming out of the IPL, I think to a large extent we're pretty clear about the kind of squad and players we want. We've sort of almost narrowed it down to 17, 18 players. Obviously, we have a few guys who are sort of recovering from injuries and might come into the mix depending on the time frame of their recoveries and how long it takes for them to come back. But all in all, I think we're pretty much in a good space. We're pretty clear about the kind of team we want to play in, and hopefully we are able to sort of give these guys who we've zeroed in on as many playing opportunities as they can. If it's in India, that's great, but even if it's not in India, just as many opportunities as we can to build our side. And within our 15 or 16 players, there'll be a couple of different combinations that we'll like to try and see which ones, because it's a big tournament, it's a long tournament in India, and you're playing in 9 different cities, 9 different conditions, so you just want to have that flexibility in your squad as well, to be able to sometimes play 4 fast bowlers, sometimes play 3 spinners. You want to have that flexibility. So we might keep, we won't, within the squad we'd like to, sort of look at different options just to keep our, just to ensure that we've covered all our bases for all conditions.
Just a slight extension of this question. Basically, for these 9 ODIs, you would have had certain tasks that you would have wanted to take. So have you been able to achieve that? Has there some new question marks come through, especially with Shreyas' absence and Surya's performance?
No, actually, I think we've, to a large extent, actually, to be very honest with you, we've actually, I think we've got a lot more clarity at the end of these 9 games, irrespective of whatever happens tomorrow. And I think we'll just keep building on that clarity. So like I said, we're kind of quite clear about the kind of squad we want. For us now, it's really just about the different playing 11 combinations and just ensuring that, we play different combinations at times just to ensure that, we are able to do that in the World Cup and we're not surprised by anything in the World Cup. So, I think in terms of sort of what we want to take off, we're pretty comfortable. Obviously, it's unfortunate for Shreyas to get injured. Like you said, he's probably one of those guys who, we think will bat for us at number 4, and he's been given a lot of time in those positions. If you'll notice, we have stuck to the people in the batting positions that we think that they will play, and just to give them more time in this format, because for 2 years leading into this sort of run, there was a lot of T20 cricket played, and we didn't have a lot of one-day cricket being played. So we've done that, but of course, if there are injuries and things, we do have options, and not really concerned so much about Surya in a couple of games. I mean, he's got 2 first bowlers against 2 pretty good balls. I think just need to be a little bit more, understanding as well. I think he's also one of the things about Surya is I think he's also learning the 50-over game a little bit. I think the T20 is slightly different, though, even though he hadn't played for India for a really long time. I think in T20 cricket he had played nearly 10 years of the IPL and a lot of IPL cricket, which is a very, which is a tournament which is almost like international cricket, and he played a lot of high pressure T20 games, but in one day cricket, there is no equivalent tournament in domestic cricket. You have to play the Vijay Hazare and all that. So for him, actually, even though he's played a lot of T20 cricket, I think his one day cricket he's not played a lot of, so we just need to give him some time and be patient with it, and we certainly see the upside of him doing well, which could be really very good to the side.
As a batting group, if you come across a specific type of bowler, maybe in this case Stark and the bowler who's doing a lot of damage, is it advisable to have like a group plan, say, see him out and then see how it goes, or do you need to decide on what is the
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things. I think it's just, you cannot dictate a plan to every one of the 6 or 7 batters who are there in the team. I think each one will have his own way of going about playing that kind of bowling and the challenges they would have played. But certainly, I think in 50 overs, it does give you the time sometimes to be able to see off good spells. And sometimes if somebody is bowling well, then to see off that spell and build later on. So, yeah, that's something that's certainly something that we'll discuss as a group at times. If we come up against someone who's bowled really well, then and that can change from game to game. Someone can have a good game and doesn't necessarily mean he'll have a good game tomorrow just because he's had 2 good games in the past. So if somebody's bowling well, and it could be a left-hand fast bowler, it could be a right-hand fast bowler on a particular day, I think the 50-over format does sometimes give you the opportunity to sometimes be, I wouldn't say cautious, and I wouldn't use the word defensive, but sometimes to be able to just see off the spell a little bit and look to build from there and probably not lose too many wickets. I think what's happened for us in the last couple of games is we've lost probably too many wickets in the first 10 overs, and so we probably, we need to look at that a little bit.
Rahul, Kuldeep Yadav has been a frequent fixture of the 11, and similarly Adam Zampa for the Australian side. Is one wrist spinner the way to go in the lead up to the World Cup, especially considering the kind of flat kind of pitches they'll have to play on in the World Cup?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's we're always presuming that the wickets will spin in India. We just actually presume that. I don't think the last 2 have spun at all. So you never know what you're going to get at the World Cup. I think, again, it's like I said, even in the league phase, it's going to be 9 cities, 9 different cities for India. It's in October. It's the early part of our season. It's after the monsoons. The wickets won't be as tired as they probably are in tournaments like the IPL and the back end of our summer, or the start of our summer. So I think you just have to get all your bases covered. You've got to have those options if you want to play a wristy, if you want to play 2 finger spinners, if you want to play 4 fast bowling options. I just think you need to have all your bases covered. Obviously, it's I think having a wrist spinner, if he's bowling well, is a huge advantage against a lot of oppositions, against a lot of teams. We feel that taking wickets in the middle overs is important. A wrist spinner probably gives us that chance to be attacking and take wickets in the middle overs, and which is why we've given Kuldeep a pretty consistent run and seen that. We obviously got Yuzi, who's unfortunately missing out, who's also a really fine bowler, and someone we could call upon if required. But at the moment we believe in giving people a bit of a consistent run before we make decisions. So, Kuldeep's certainly the one who's been getting that run over the last few games.
The series on the line, will there be a temptation still to experiment with the playing 11? And considering you already have 3 left-arm spinners, is there something you would want to change?
No, I mean, we've not really tried to experiment in the last game as well. It wasn't, the idea of playing a left-arm spinner in the last game actually wasn't to experiment. So we're not really experimenting at any stage. I mean, it's just like I said, it's just a combination. I think that allows us that flexibility, just having the likes of an Akshar Patel or a Shardul Thakur, and just looking at the kind of depth that we need with our batting. So it's just a condition-based kind of selection, really. It's not an experimentation, really. So we'll see tomorrow. We'll just see what we think is the best 11 to play to win the match tomorrow, not think about anything too much and not think too far ahead.